the overview saying what our role and so anyway, I'm going to begin by asking from this who has been a wonderful um, and now so I want to do you whatever.
Um, my introduction to looking at the coastline environment was an invitation to marry, and it was in September, and email that I could try to get for 2 days, and what did you think of 5 days? And so we involved our community prepared. That's where it began. Simple invitation. And my our parish folks would be to get part of this study that also recognized that we're essentially look at this planning nothing else. Especially be involved within the community and that's exciting. And from there, you finally get this. Is there any way to connect with the community? And not true, because we do have Roche 11 program and science program that was fine in environment. Fine. So it's not often you get an opportunity nowadays with and for young people to be a part of young the future. And then is whenever you open the door, here's here. So I began to it opened my and to environmental and so fishers there and what they thought about fishing has changed, how the size of it changing, but also the size of this point no, there was a time fish smokes through the eggs. And the smokes be this long. Like small man. And he said now from bigger minnows, we want the bleach and ice fishing. So that's how suddenly a conversation I mean not or so and from there, again, my ears flew to visiting different sites. First interesting part. And just started with people were talking, one gentleman said, well, you know, the bee is flying close to now my another person who said we're losing her. And we have beauty
Recording in progress. Tracking.
And then how the foods. And how easily. Right, but not only to raise awareness, condition, but also to realize the why variables different. Easy, but it's one thing to address concern, but it's a whole different matter. Say, why is the concern and why are we experiencing range tides that are storms that are creating damage that we never knew. And so all of this comes to the basic question that I find myself asking is what have we done God's and and so obviously no and I know the communities are what and I in the schools. Well, it was kind of interesting. Brief email. You want to get a hold of me. And suddenly suddenly welcome in law.
And anybody that your something. Yes. There's also a fact that, like that later. Here we are looking at this project. And this started a little longer than that. Or I would think maybe might know the environment. It's an organization, an umbrella organization that membership of not only individuals, but also and people that it already has an environment. And so I heard that I knew about it fairly early. 2 years now, the diocese in America, not because our job is for organization. So anyway, years into the parents
September, sorry, no, December 2022. In this speed dating activity that the Nova Scotia network, environment network had. It's a quite interesting speed dating activity for environmentalists.
Yeah, so we met on Zoom, and a breakaway. And so we started talking. And I knew that he had a passion about Coastline. And so we met at the library in Dartmouth, and we started talking. And he presented me with this dream of this being really engaged. And the tech might be an aspect of the impact. And so, the more I was engaged, and so eventually we started to look at it, and we so basically keep it complex. But that's, we have what we basically need at this stage. And he's also been wonderful. Just like Mike. So we got plane. And Kelly's sitting there. And we have the budget. No, or down. But I guess again. Uh, So we had a grant from the Anglican, like diocese with it. We have a grant from the organization. Because Canadian and international government and just and there is for folks field. And so we had a piece of the end of it. And there's another broader message, which so we have a modest budget, but the idea is that we human resource. So anyway, I'm not going to then that because I think but just when you we're traveling, and I have to say too that being involved in I had no the Eastern like by my I worked on stuff, and I say this to you, the and so it's an honor. Anyway, with that, I'm going to let.
In a second, I just want to share here the screen. Here it is. Yeah, there are some people joining. Yeah, so they were. I will be there. If you can give me the slides, please. Then I will try to speak loud for the people in this. I will have to do it because they are already.
I don't know how to bring this up. So this one?
Is this slideshow? No.
So welcome everybody on Zoom as well as in the room. We're going to learn a little bit more about the architecture of the project.
Thank you, everybody. Stay here. So you can see me with my cell phone there. The camera cannot see. It's not possible to see from the. This is a good question. You hear me there?
He said move it closer to the speaker. So speak louder, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I want to introduce you to the project. This is the first. We'll have two more. This April, May, June. That's probably at 90% again, because we be new people on the field. And the idea is that we will stay with us on the different activities. So we will have different guest speakers. For today, we have some from Argentina that they will show their project, their initiative that they have done in the last 10 years. We are just starting, but they have 10 years experience doing that. We say it will be great, their experience there. In the same Atlantic, we are sharing the same portion of the other side of the globe. Here we are just waiting summer, and they are just waiting winter. So, okay. The project we call the Healthy Coast Project, but this is not the whole. The whole is quite longer. It's strengthening the institutional partnerships, system protection, and climate change protection, which are the key words. First, citizen science, because we want that the citizen start to be scientists, because information means power, and we have information, we can make better decisions, especially with climate change and also with ecosystem protection. This base is corresponded by the Anglican Church. 85% of the funds come from the Anglican Church, and a small part from the Housing University. But we expect that in the next year, all the funds continue the project from the housing, from a big project, housing one last year, with 3 universities. Just to explain why we are starting this project, and what is led by the Anglican Church. It's not because it's a project related with the church only, but it's more related with the community as part of the mandates that the church has related with the tax creations. Okay. So, are the aims. First of all, the community monitoring. This is, I think, the core of everything. We are living close to the coast, but we can obtain some data to understand better the coast. Normally, with science, in the 20th century, I really like about the 20th century, the 21st. The 20th century, the public institutions and government, so the university, the science, they go to the field, they collect the data, they analyze the data, they prepare the reports, and they make the decisions. And we, the citizen, were just seeing how everything is happening, but we were not involved. The 21st century is different because now we have cell phones. Almost everybody has a cell phone. We have access to computer, to internet, and many communication. We as a community, we can start also collect some data. It's not just to obtain the data, how to use the data. To give a feedback to our decision. So this is the first part. The second part is the local leadership. There's a concept that is called the top-down. Perfect decisions. Two main ways to make decisions: top-down and bottom-up. Top-down is, as an example, the Coastal Protection Act. Now, this is an act that goes from the central level to the top, and when they approve the act, we just follow. This is top-down. But nowadays, we discovered that it's better to bottom-up decision. It means we are living just in front of the coast, and maybe we have, I don't know, it's better information, but we have some information we can share to make this decision. But we need local leadership for that. And the third part, this is important from my perspective as a scientist. We need to standardize data. Because if we go to the coast, each of us will collect different data, different way. In mine, just I'm from Colombia, and using all the metric system. We call the other system the English system. We call the empirical units, I will say that the English units. Just these small things, buying that arm and then just measuring the temperature in Celsius during Fahrenheit. It's so difficult to understand. This is a very small example. So it's standards. It's very important science, but we can do it as a science. We don't need to, it's not very complicated. This problem. So our school, and this is a very important concept because this is an innovative school. It is not, we are not cap aging, more than 20 and 30 years of citizen science. But still now it's not very common that we are doing science based on the information community. This is why this is for our citizen science. We are doing science, but with the methods, using the devices and the ways that is easier for us. That we won't use very complicated or expensive equipment. We are not here. We are not studying the quantic theories. We are studying something that we have just in front of our house. So the second thing is about Coastline. This project is focused on the first one. It doesn't mean that it's not important other systems. Urban for this project, we are interested in the coast because we started with the version. This expectation that we had with Marianne 1.5 years ago was how can we conserve better the coast with the idea that we will be better prepared for climate change or any kind of change that we have. But also this is policy oriented. We want that this is to change policy. But at the same time, that change also decision making not only development. It would be great if it's my main goal that we can change the decision making at the homeland. You know that when we decide what we will do for the next winter, we make the decision based on the data that we have and we collect. If we understand which information we are collecting, so we understand which will be the effect if we have some change.
Oh, thank you.
There was a message there saying, Maria.
She's here. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. She's here.
Very start with community. The whole Eastern Shore, I speak about the Eastern Shore before Magna Island to Castro. We're starting here in Chicago. For Mike, his college. But the idea is that in the medium term, we will go from Magna Island to Castro, all Eastern Shore. There are two counties, Halifax and Gainesville. Okay, the idea is that we will cover all this area, all this community. We have 25 years. We will cover because it's a very hard community, but this is the project for this year have four main steps. The first one is the engagement. The first is the engagement. That's this part. Well, the idea is if we want to do citizen science, the size, but first we need. Then we need yeah, but my throw is not enough before they can do what they will say now. So the idea is that this part, and we really appreciate that you are here also it's online, because the first thing that we need are people involved in the project. Because we have all our motivation to do that, but we need that the people still close to the coast, interest in the coast, with the monitoring the coast, they are involved. This is the first part. The second one will be training, and again, we will start in May. And this training is that we will measure some parameters, coastal parameters, and climate-related parameters. I will show you later how to take that. And we will send you this presentation. Okay. The training part, the in-person session, in person, and virtual. Later, we will have the monitoring and the data validation. We are trying about the environment. We go, the idea is that we go July, August, and September to collect the data and also to practice in the field. And with this information, we can the reports. This report will go directly to you. If you are collecting the data, I analyze this data, the calculations, and I will give it back to you this information. The idea that you can know better which are the interpretation of this data and how that you can use it in the future, because the idea that we will start this year, continue with many years, and our goal is some kind of forever project. We are meeting forever on the coast. Okay, the part I want to do that. There are some things that you can check later, but it's more
The next slide.
these are the parameters. Usually it sounds maybe not very familiar to them. But the thing is that when this is part of training, I will show you what it means, each of these parameters, why they are useful, and how to measure them with very simple material, very simple equipment. The beach profile, yesterday we have been with been on the coast, the Southern Island, here in the shores that San Andres, in this section, we're just exploring the coast to identify some sand beaches. It don't need to be sand as the island. That's with some sand to measure the profile. This is the most important part to know erosion or not, and how fast is the erosion, and if we are recovering from a storm or not. Very important, but it's very simple to measure with some equipment that we will speak to you on this monitorization. The weather conditions, that is the wind, the for, and we will give each of the monitoring teams automatic station that measure everything together. Then it's just data, the data and sent to our phone. The waves, the idea that we measure the waves, how high are the waves, which is the duration, which is the period, how many waves in a minute. But we can measure that just with observation. We don't need, we'd be great about a wall if one of us in front of our is not, a citizen science. Of course, we can measure that, just observe it and love. With the biota, we want to identify the flora and today, because we have the tool, simple to do that. Many applications in front of the flowers or to the leaves, and the application will tell us about the species. And with this information, we can identify invasive species. Or if we have some endemic species, we are recovering some species that's important. For example, I would like to talk about erosion. If we want to protect erosion, we use plant should plant filter, because it's more effective to store than rocks. But first, we need to know which kind of flora we have. And finally, the leach liquor. It's a very simple method because we identify the main source. This is the kind of parameter that we would use. The outcomes and the impact of the project. Again, the most important part are the social. The people, the infrastructure, more tools to understand and also to make the decision and also to follow the decision that the government. Maybe somebody today could come here and say, no, this is what is happening. If we have data, we can, maybe not, but here I have the data, it's scientific data. It's not my perception. It's the data that we have in a project. It's the first outcome. Environmental outcome, of course, if we want to recover some ecosystem, we are losing that outcome. Institutional outcomes, because this information also will help some like the municipality to make their decision, because they don't have a limited resource. Now we will help them some information that we can obtain very quickly and very quickly. Finally, community preparedness is very important about climate change. The next hurricane, if we know before how big it will be and we know better about our environment, better prepared. And finally, for us, we formed, we are here, but very important to you is that we are searching just now for a local assistant. We need somebody here to help us with all the organization, all the information. This is a paid position. But it's a part-time, but if you know somebody that could be interested to stay with us, to work with us today, first day until September, October, will be great. And it's somebody that is in the university, in America, housing, but here from the institution, it will be great because the next year we will start with the housing opportunity for masters and PhDs. It will be great. We can give this scholarship. And I think it's a very nice entry position in the scientific world to the young people here on the front of the line. And then I think it's nice. This is all about the project. Questions? So, everything's clear.
After the presentation, discussion.
Yeah. So now we will pass to our guest speaker. Our guest speaker from Argentina. They will show us their project. Started quite similar to our project. This project started with the interest from the community itself. Now they have more than 10 years working. They have 2027 groups. There's Gerardo Perino, he's professor in the Southern University in Argentina. Gerardo, can you hear me?
Hello, good day. Many thanks for the invitation. Do you think, well, I will share my presentation. Okay, I hope you are seeing my presentation. Well, many thanks for the invitation, Camilo, and the rest of the team that are present here. Well, I will present how we initiated and developed the project that is here indicated as Citizen Science for Coastal Environments. Actually, the name we use is CUPAC, which is an acronym from the text for the name in Spanish. And this is a project that is founded by a national organization which is called Pampa Azul, which refers to the oceans around Argentina. Will be the blue pampas. Argentina is known by the green pampas, but we are talking about the blue pampas, which is our sea. This is a project that is being led by IADO, the Argentine Institute of Oceanography, and the Universidad Nacional del Sur, both in Bahía Blanca. But this is co-organized by an organization of a series of NGOs and individuals that are located around the coast of Buenos Aires province. We have also the support of some organizations like ProPlayas and the National Institute of Geology and Coastal Geology and the Quaternary. So far, I'm gonna well, for those of you that doesn't know exactly where we are here in Argentina and basically around the Buenos Aires province, which is we are here in Bahía Blanca right now, but this is all the coast of Buenos Aires province, around 1,500 kilometers of coast. And even though the project started around 2 years ago, actually it started about 10 years ago. But because what happens in this city of Villa Gesell, which is about in the middle of the coast of the Buenos Aires province, we were asked by this organization, a local organization by some local people that got together originally to defend a dune that was going to be destroyed by an urban development. These people changed themselves around the dune and for several days stayed there to stop the demolishing of this dune. And they actually, after several activities, legal actions and things, finally they stop this urban development. And they become like a lighthouse for everybody that spread out along the Buenos Aires province coast for cities that have similar problems. And what happens, they actually, originally, they contact us and to see if there is a possibility that we could train them, no, regarding the possibility for them to measure several parameters on the beaches to be able to have basic information that allow them to have tools to fight for any kind of the developments that will affect the environment, especially the beach. Well, what happens is after a series of lectures, and a group of our team, led by Maria Luján Bustos, which is also here in and she is actually the coordinator of our SUPAC project. I forgot to tell you, yeah. They went a couple of persons of our team went to the Villa Gesell for several years and trained all the people of this organization, and they were taking measurements like beach profiles, making lectures, taking measurements of waves, etc. And this project actually provides a lot of information, like a series of reports. This book that we are right now trying to update and improve, which is a book related to simple methods to measure beach profiles and coastal observations. But we are going to add a little more things for the new version. But you can see the beach profiles that were taken and the data were obtained. So actually, this gave us an idea later on when the possibility to present a project to the Pampa Sul initiative gave us the opportunity for actually start, digamos, we were able to contact a series of places where they have serious problems in the coast. For example, erosional problems, cities that are the houses that are close to the coast that have been destroyed, you can see, or cliff coasts that are really in a dangerous situation. So they all require some kind of basic information. And unfortunately, that is not something very common to have data, scientific data from along the whole of our Buenos Aires province coast. So actually we, in certain way, we are able through this project to get this information that will help both stakeholders and decision makers to get enough information to manage the beaches in the future. Basically, we work with a total of I think 16 localities around the coast of Buenos Aires province, and each of them has at least one group of local citizens, an NGO or a group of citizens that are actually working or taking measurements every month of a lot of variables in the beach. So that's exactly when we started this project. Actually, we did not make, as Camilo indicated, it's not as a top-down project, but it's also a project that is being built with the stakeholders. So we presented the project with the stakeholders as part of the leaders in the team that are that defined the project originally. So the idea is to have scientists and society working together, and this project has several stages that starting in 2022. Like, for example, we have a first stage in which there was the first year, basically a little as we move out of the pandemic, but we have a period of engagement and training with in each of the localities. There was spent 2 or 3 days by our team taking and training the people that was gonna be taking the data, and then by themselves, each team is taking beach profiles, meteorological data, wave information, etc. And also what we did is also because of course using, for example, the Emery rulers to take a beach profile might have some kind of errors, but to ensure the quality of the information that the people is taking, we went with our GPS, DGPS, to take informations, basic information, like, for example, where is the starting point, was it a fixed starting point, so every profile is actually correlated with the followings that they've been done taken every month, or those kind of information that is interesting. And also, for example, doing simultaneously an Emery profile with a GPS profile, so to be sure that what is the potential error that the people has in measuring with the Emery rule. And also along the whole project, we are working in communication. We are working communication within the group and within all the participants and outside of the group through social networks and web pages, etc. Well, I will basically now I will refer with a little more detail to each of the steps. The first step was the engagement of the neighborhood assemblies, foundations, NGOs, and others. And this right now we have 44 organizations of this type participating in the project. Everyone, and they are associated in what is called a Regional Assembly in Defense of the Coastal Environment. It's called AREDAC, and this is the co-partner in the project. And everybody has, of course, the same goal, which is protecting and conserving the coastal environment where they live specifically. We are concerned to the analysis of what happens along all the coast. And so you have examples of the training processes, and we every place we were doing some training, and we provide them with a kit of materials that we're able to use to, besides the rulers, they have different kinds of elements they are going to use in the daily measurements. We also we have then the stage of data collection in which they actually made all these the type of measurements, like beach profiles, taking samples of the beach and measuring, doing a visual observation of the granulometry by comparing with a kit that you have here. Well, we installed meteorological stations in each locality, and automatic ones that transmit via Wi-Fi, but also some local pluviometers, so they can correlate with what the values they have in the station. They take visual observations of wave height and period, type of breakers, the littoral current speed and direction. Of course, there are also some groups that do analysis of coastal litter. And also we have a program using a method called CoastNav, in which there are stations, places along the different places, and which any people that can go over there can go with a cell phone and take a picture, and they can send the picture by email, WhatsApp, or whatever other method. And when we are collecting those pictures, and then we can analyze the evolution of the place using the time series of these pictures. This is something that I recommend to have in every place where you're gonna have this picture, because you don't need to take the pictures. The tourists will take the pictures for you, basically. Well, data validation was basically, I already told you, is going up over there with our more sophisticated instrumentation that will help to be able to know what is the kind of errors that the people that are doing the data collection are taking. For example, how good are they in taking the height or the period of the waves, for example, which is, since these are visual observations, they need a special training because not everybody is able to estimate what is the height of the tide, of the wave, for example, just previous to the moment in which the wave is breaking. So this kind of things requires that the people be accustomed to do that. And also, of course, when as the longest you take this type of measurement, you more profit are in your capability to get the best value possible. But this is always is not a value. If you take a measurement one day, that is not important. It's the long-term data. At least a year of data is what you really, because this is a statistical number that we need to use for measuring these variables and analyze the conditions of this place. And of course, this is an example of all different type of findings and the communications that we have. And if you click with your cellular phone in the QR that you have here, you can get access to our web page, and you can observe all type of information that is in posted over there. Well, then, thank you very much. I really appreciate your attention. And if you have any questions, please do so.
Okay, Gerardo, thank you very much. If you have any question here from the audience?
I will stop sharing then and let to
Yeah.
follow in the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but did you hear the question, Gerardo?
No, I didn't get any questions right now.
Maybe. No. Can you say
Yes, please.
Yeah, because the microphone is here. Next time.
I just wondered about when you were looking for support, and you said that there was 44 different communities. Did you use a certain method to outreach? How did you go about to establish into the community? Because I think all of our communities are the same, population-wise, interest-wise. Just wondered if there's any caveats that you could share with us about helping to do that.
Well, thank you for your question. Actually, what we were very helpful, very lucky in the sense that this organization, the AREDAC, which was already established, in which they were a collection of NGOs, assemblies, and different type of organizations that were along the coast. And they were interconnected through this main organization. And we knew several of the people that were leading this organization. And so what we did was contact them, and we have a series of meetings with these people in these organizations, especially mostly Zoom meetings, but sometimes presential meetings. And starting with that, and since we were sharing the same concerns, we actually, and when the possibility for funding arose, we were more or less ready to be able to present a project. I can tell you this, we are very proud of this. This is the most, probably is the most successful project that has been funded by the Pampa Sul initiative, as the only one that it has citizen science involved. Of about 32 projects that have been funded, ours is the one that has the only one who has citizen science involved in the project.
Okay. That's great to hear that. It is very, very encouraging. NGOs, what does that stand for?
And
Non-governmental.
non-governmental organizations.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Buenas tardes, señor. Muchas gracias. My name is Mike Allen. I'm also a resident of Brazil, just north of you, in a beachfront community there.
Wow.
And I have just a general kind of a global question. The best I can tell, based on Dalhousie research and here in Nova Scotia on the eastern seaboard in the North Atlantic here, they've been estimating a gross ocean rise of approximately 0.7 inches per decade.
Yeah.
About an inch or so every 10 years. And I can visibly see this at I built a wharf here on my property 20 years ago, and I can see it on the wharf. I was kind of taken aback when I found out it was that much.
Mm-hmm.
And my question for you is there any figure in the South Atlantic, in the Argentinian coast? I can also see it on my house in Brazil. I can visibly see this. I have a serious erosion problem with my home there.
Yeah.
But that's for another discussion. Is there a figure there in the South Atlantic, like per decade, how much the rise is happening?
Well, actually, it's, the measurements should be 20 millimeters, or so 2 centimeters per year, per decade. O sea, they are about 2 millimeters per year. Yeah.
Millimeters. Roughly the same, 20 centimeters, 2 centimeters per decade.
Well, exactly. Yes, about
that lines up well.
About a little bit less than an inch. We don't go with inches, so we don't think it's not in my mind.
Point well taken. Yeah, so it's interesting that both in the North and South Atlantic, irregardless of temperature and specifics, it's about.
But I guess in Canada you have probably in Nova Scotia you might have that kind of level, but as you move northward in Canada, there are places in which actually the sea level is dropping, but not because the sea level is not rising, but it's dropping because you have isostasy that is moving up the continent. Because you have to take in account what is the relationship between how the continent moves versus how much the sea level is rising. Because that is a relationship. If you have to analyze in an absolute values, and that is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
In your case, you have in some places in Canada, especially in the northern part, from Terra Nova to north, you might have places in which you have actually you are gonna see a dropping in the sea level, in the mean sea level.
Yeah.
But not because the sea level is not rising, it's because your land is rising faster.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And that's it.
Please.
Hello, Professor.
Yeah.
I have been wondering about the community and seeking interest in our project. One
criticism I have heard, or several criticism, is that it sounds great, but this thing about climate scientists, this is to the point that one comment was, well, is it real science? Is it something we can hang our hats on and it will make a difference in our communities if it's based primarily on observations? Can you offer for me a response that I could have to those criticisms?
Well, one thing is you are not going, the people, us, we are not probably going to see the actual process of flooding of our beaches or our wetlands in only a few years. That's something that doesn't happen every day. It's something that will take a long time, but we need for saving the conditions of our environment in the long run, 20 or 30 or 50 years from now, we had to start about 30 years ago. Unfortunately, we didn't do it. No, and so we need to start as soon as possible because we are going to be able to understand what is going on in our places. One problem we have in most of our coast, especially where there are towns along the beach, is that the town, you see, when the human were not in the in the world, there were changes of the mean sea level that moved from 130 meters above present sea level about 60 million years ago, no, to 130 meters below present sea level 18,000 years ago. So the present sea level is, for the history of the Earth, is an abnormality. See, sea level fluctuated a lot during the geological history of the planet. But what happens is that since the presence of humans in our coast has changed completely the conditions, and we are being affected by this sea level rise. When the sea level was rising earlier in our history, cities were not present in the coast. What happens? The sea were able to flood the continent without any problem. See, for example, all the sea was receding in time without any problem. Nobody was caring about that. But what happens is, as we build cities around the coast, now we are entering in one concept that's called the coastal squeezing. Coastal squeezing means that since we cannot move the cities, the actual beach, for example, is retreating, but without having any chance to move forward, move inland, because they have the city over there. So what we have to do is building or rebuilding some structures, like, for example, dunes along the coast, to allow the beach to retro-nourishing the beach because of the sun that is being provided by the dunes. As when cities were built, the dunes, the fort dunes were eliminated. It's what happened here in Argentina. Most of the cities that have been built along the coast were destroyed. All the fort dunes were destroyed to have beautiful houses along the beach and those kind of things. Those houses that I show you the pictures in which they are being destroyed right now. But that's the destroying of these houses is because of the coastal squeeze that is going to happen. It's happening right now. I hope I can so that the participation of the people is to help understand the place, what happens, what is going to happen in the future by having real data. That is ours, us as scientists, we cannot get all the data in all the places simultaneously. And having a group of people like we have in this group, measuring along the coast, it will give us much more information to help the future of our understanding of what is the cost. Sorry, I went so long.
Well, thank you very much.
Before give Pablo, I think there is a question in the chat. Just give me a
A
second.
ver. ¿Me escuchan?
Sí.
Pablo, danos un segundo, porfa, si te escuchamos un momento. You said Leslie. Okay, Leslie. Yeah, Leslie, you want to ask the question? You can open your microphone.
Okay, I have a question and a couple of comments. So maybe I'll start with the comments because they're related to, I think it's Reverend Foley that was just speaking there. So first I want to thank Professor Berisho for the presentation. It was very interesting. So I also have a connection to your region. I've lived and worked in Uruguay for over 2.5 years combined since 1996. And my last visit was a couple months there last year in your summertime.
Now I understand why Perillo.
Sí, el castellano, ¿no? So I'm probably familiar with the type of coastline that you're working with there in some parts of Buenos Aires province, having spent time on Costa de Oro, in Canelones in Uruguay, Colonia, Maldonado, Rocha, those types of places. Amazing. And I'd love to have a home down there myself. I just want to mention about the citizen science. I worked doing public engagement at St. Mary's University back in 2005 and 2007, 2008, was involved in a number of citizen science projects there. So doing geography and green mapping, environmental assets and environmental challenges in a few communities around Nova Scotia. So I really see the value in citizen science. And if we just look at the BioBlitz that we have in Nova Scotia, I believe it happens in the spring, which is a very successful citizen science initiative. So I think that's something that we can also look to, including your coastal zone management project or coastal zone conservation project that you're doing in your region as well. It's fascinating. I work with a community organization here, and we work with older adults, seniors, and we're moving into the area of mental wellness. So I'm really catching on to the social benefits of this as well. And I'm wondering about youth engagement in your initiative. Are you engaging with many youth in your coastal areas?
Well, most of the people that are in these organizations we work are mostly young to middle-aged people. I would say that there are people older, as Pablo will be one of the persons that really was involved for a long time. But most of the people are maybe in between the 20s to the 50s, something like that. They were. I really Unfortunately, older people are not so enthusiastic. We tried to do something related to older people many years ago, but we weren't successful about that because it's not common for many. You see, most of these towns doesn't have, even though they have older people, they are not accustomed to take going and taking data. Those kind of things are is something completely how do you say? It's not something that is in their blood, I would say. Okay.
Thank you. Well, I think we have a little bit of a different demographic here where our region has the highest, I guess, the most aged population in our province. So it is a little bit of a different demographic, but I think it would be exciting to see if we could get some older adults involved in doing.
The point is normal. Let me point out a little problems are related to our economy. You see, when your people retires, they normally might have a good living standard. In our country, unfortunately, the retirement they get most of the people are not very good, and sometimes, and most of the time, they have to keep working. And they do not have time to do some type of activities which are beyond the trying to survive. That's probably a main reason that we have a different conditions for retired people in both our countries.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Leslie, for the question. Thank you, Gerardo. I think now is the time for Pablo that
Yeah,
could,
of course.
I want to introduce Pablo to the audience. Pablo, you can see him there on the screen. He is one of the citizen scientists. He doesn't speak English. He speaks Spanish, and Gerardo will translate. But we want that you can see the both part, the scientists, Gerardo, but also the community members that are working on that. So Gerardo, now we can start to Spanish
Okay.
English.
Thank you. Pablo, por favor, podés empezar si querés comentar algo. Acordate frases cortas.
Dale. Bueno, buenos días a todos y contarles rápidamente que yo tengo 70 años y hace 50 años que vivo a 100 metros del mar acá en Villa Gesell, sobre un médano.
Pablo is thanks for the invitation, and also he is telling you that he has 70 years old and lived for about 50 years in the beach on top of a dune. Sí, sí.
O sea, que imagínense que he disfrutado mucho de la observación del océano y de todo lo que lo rodea, pero a partir de cierto tiempo, en los años fines de los 80, 90, empezamos junto con otros vecinos, otros lugareños, que observábamos un montón de cosas sobre el océano, empezamos a ver que había cambios y que había problemas, sobre todo en la costa, con las construcciones, con la playa, con la erosión, que no la conocíamos.
Déjame traducir, por favor.
Sí.
Well, along the years, he were observing the sea and the conditions in the coast where he lives, but by the years 80s or 90s, he is with some friends and neighborhood, they started to see there were big changes in the conditions of the coast and on the sea, and they were started to be worried about what those conditions would happen. Dale, sí, por favor.
Bueno, y ahí es cuando empezamos a interesarnos más profundamente y nos conectamos con académicos, con geólogos, con biólogos, con oceanógrafos, leyendo, escuchando, yendo a charlas. Bueno, ahí empezamos a darnos cuenta que la cosa era en serio y que había que tener un seguimiento, había que tener datos, no se podía hablar así hablar o por observaciones a las que un lugareño es muy afecto, ¿no? De observar las cosas pero no tomar datos. Así que de ahí viene después la importancia de la conexión con Luján y con este proyecto de Ciupac.
Well, what is he's telling that this group of neighborhood started to see that they were not able to understand all the processes, but besides their local observations, empirical observations, actually, what happens is they started to connect with academicians, with geologists, oceanographers, biologists, etc., to get information, going to taking courses, doing training, and they were able to be able to understand a little bit better what is the conditions at their place, and they realized their empirical observations by themselves were not enough to be able to provide some clear have actual knowledge of what was going on in their places. Sí.
Esos datos y esa conexión con otras localidades a través de estas mediciones que empezamos a hacer, nos han servido mucho también para tener nuestra propia información y poder contrastarla muchas veces con los gobiernos que son un poquito inescrupulosos, que dicen que no pasa nada y que es solamente una tormenta y no pasa nada, y se siguen aprobando cosas o permitiendo malos manejos de la costa, y el hecho de que nosotros tengamos conexión con académicos y que tengamos información propia, digamos, con registros propios, nos parece que es re importante y que en la medida que podamos lo seguiremos haciendo.
Well, they are able, through the knowledge of the interaction between with the academic people and with the people along the coast, with doing exactly the same activities they are doing. They were able now to have their own information, the same data, and they were able now to discuss at the same level with the decision makers or people that are doing some buildings, etc. That so they can contrast, because they know that many times the people in the government, both local or provincial, they are always trying to improve, within quotes, and the coast with different type of I say with different type of developing, but and when the storm happens or a large event happens and produce some kind of maximum changes in the coast, they are always being told, no, it's something temporary, it's not important, but they are knowing now with their own data that they can provide information that the situation is not as simple as the government tells them.
Sí, simplemente también la importancia de que a través de este proyecto podemos comunicarnos con localidades. Nosotros estamos a 100 kilómetros al norte de Mar del Plata y a 100 kilómetros al sur de lo que se llama el Partido de la Costa, que es una zona de costa bastante parecida, de médanos, de arena, pero que está muchísimo más deteriorada y donde ya hay construcciones que se han venido abajo, se han caído, y la línea de costa está el mar está muy cerca de las construcciones, de las viviendas de la gente, y ya es una cosa dramática. Y obviamente que lo ponemos como ejemplo, pero justamente todo lo que hacemos es para no terminar igual que esa zona. Así que bueno, es un esfuerzo entre un montón de vecinos de la costa norte de Buenos Aires y también de la zona sur, pasando Mar del Plata hacia el sur, de poder empujar para que nuestras ciudades costeras no terminen de la peor manera, digamos. Así que bueno, es un trabajo que hacemos como lugareños, defendemos nuestro lugar y reconocemos todos los errores que se han hecho, pero que todavía hay posibilidades por lo menos de mejorar. No sabemos si finalmente el mar va a pasar, pero hacemos todo lo posible para que las cosas se hagan bien. Esa me parece que un poco es el resumen de lo que hacemos como lugareños.
Pablo says also that this project gave him and his community the opportunity to interact with other communities that are along this 1,500 kilometers of the Buenos Aires province. And he is able to see what happens in his coast, but he sees also what are the serious problems that we have in the northern part of the Buenos Aires province, where the erosion is so important, and there are houses that have been destroyed, and they really do not want that the same thing happens in their locality. That's the reason they need to have this information to prepare and do the strategies to avoid these type of situations, and they don't know if the sea is gonna come through them, through the city, but at least they have to be prepared and try to solve at least to know what to do if that situation happens. And well, he's thanks to be able to participate on this kind of things. Ok, ¿quieres decir unas últimas palabras?
Sí, simplemente eso que es el esfuerzo de la gente que tiene conciencia y que sabe que a veces no se puede hacer todo lo que uno quisiera, pero bueno, es nuestra obligación, nuestro compromiso con el lugar donde vivimos de defenderlo y de no permitir que la ambición termine destruyendo tan maravillosos lugares. Así que nada, muchas gracias por permitirme participar y bueno, y hace falta una ley de costas. Nada más.
He thinks that well, he's glad to be able to participate in these things, in this interaction, in this type of studies, because he thinks that what the work has been done will provide some means to in the future to save the coastal cities, the coastal environment, and they give him the possibility to have information that will try to confront the ambitious activities of urban developments that really do not take care of the environment as much as they should be doing. Well, he thanks you very much for the invitation.
Okay, Gerardo, I will say thank you to Pablo in Spanish. Yes. Pablo, muchas gracias para que me escuches en español, ya para que desde acá, desde Canadá, muchas gracias por tu compañía, por todo lo que nos has dicho, porque lo que estamos buscando es que ellos se vuelvan como ustedes, que tengan toda esa fuerza. Así que ahora ustedes son ejemplo desde Argentina aquí en Canadá. Ya les voy a contar a ellos lo mismo en inglés. Pues muchas gracias,
Mirá,
Pablo.
un saludo y muchas gracias.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I was say to him that thank you, but now he is an example for us. That we are just paying attention of him. And just one thing that he said, that the last sentence that he said, the last part was, we need a coastal protection act.
Yeah.
I know this is a very polemic topic here in Nova Scotia, but just to say that this was the last thing that he said.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not an easy topic here, Gerardo, just that you know.
No, yeah, we have the same problem here. So there's a situation, and people doesn't, the government and the parliament doesn't really is very happy to do so, because there are a lot of lobby by the constructions companies, etc., that kind of really are avoiding that kind of discussion.
Yeah, here is quite different. We have the law, we have the act, but not the regulation, because here work quite different. But just to say that is in any country is a polemic situation about the law and about the data. And this is one part of the idea with this project. That if we have better data, we can know if it's good or not, really, each of these legal proposals. Okay, thank you very much, Gerardo.
I hope if anybody has any future question,
question,
or
here
if I
in the
want to
audience.
contact con us, please contact Luján or Federico or myself. I have no problem. Please, I will be able to answer whatever you really need in the future. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gerardo. Okay. So I think we will stop here the recording in the Zoom, and we will start our activity here in the room. Just say thank you, Leslie, for staying there. I think
Thank
we
you
have,
for having me.
yeah, I think we have your data, isn't it? Your contact information.
You do have my information. I'm interested in getting involved somehow. So would Kelly be a good person to talk to about that, or with you, or?
Yeah, with all of us, you know, that
Okay.
just that you know that we will have two more activities, lunch and learns. Next one will be the 10th of May. Bye-bye, Gerardo.
Bye-bye.
The 10th of May will be the next one, and the guest speaker will be the leader here in Canada that Gerardo told about the Coastline project. There is some Canadian version of the Coastline. It's called Coasty. He will be our next guest speaker, the 10th May, and the 7th June will be the last one of these 3 lunch and learn activities. Then you are totally welcome here. If you want to come here in person, will be great.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Lady.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Second, I will stop recording.